Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday night. Welcome back to the channel and the Mon.Comics 20th episode of the Big Five Live, monthly show where I scour the YouTubes. I try to find other content comic book creators and I bring them together, all in the name of showing and talking comic books. And I can't believe I've been doing it for 20 episodes now. It's once a month, so 4 more. I'll have been doing it for 2 years, but it has been really the highlight of my YouTube fun and career, whatever you want to call it, is just getting to hang out with people within the community and learn more about them and what they collect and why. And tonight I was able, sorry about the intro. I don't know why it's not fitting the screen, but we'll get that fixed. To my buddy Scotty Hawk, my cousin, actually, for making that new intro just for the Big Five Live. So very awesome of him. His channel is Hawkward Gaming. If you want to check that out, he does a lot of gaming stuff. He's really, really good and fun to watch. But tonight, guys, I got more creators. I got another team tonight and a couple individuals that I've met through the YouTubes. And I asked them to bring some comics tonight. So let's I'm going to bring out my buddy Rich first, Biggnastycomics. How you doing tonight, Rich?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
It's an honor, dude. You were watching my channel, and then all of a sudden you have a channel. And I'm like, all right, like that's all it takes. Just put a camera out there and talk to the ether, and, you know, you're going to get friends. Have you been having fun with it?
Yep, sure have, man. It's been a blast. You're one of the guys that prompted me to start my own channel. So, you know, but,
any idiot can do it. Just watch me. Right. Just get on and spout. So, no, dude, honor to have you here. Finally, I'm glad when people take that next step and get onto the YouTubes, so we can do fun stuff like this. Next up, I've got. It's always important to me that we see female representation in the comic book space as well as YouTube space. Having 2 daughters, it's important for them to see that anyone can do this. And this is my friend Celia from Gotham Glam. You know, her channel was just recommended one day to me, and I was like, oh, okay, we got a female YouTuber coming in about comics. And her passion about DC Comics and what she likes to talk about, whether it's that or music, it shines through. And she's been crushing it. How you doing tonight, Celia?
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. It's an honor. I love your show and what you do, so I always appreciate the kind words you have for me. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
You're doing great. Again, you're putting yourself out there. My daughter will only go to bed if I kiss her, like, at the end of the night. So that was the interruption. She's a little manipulator is what she is. I'll tell you what. She knows she's going to get up. That's how kids are. But no, Celia, thanks for coming and making time for us. We really appreciate it. Next team up, I got a team. I always find teams. And it's weird because these guys were introduced to me by someone in the chat, Richard Westfall, super fan of all YouTube channels. He is everywhere. I don't know how. He must be like Neo from the Matrix and have like 10 screens up and just be watching everything at once, because like he's everywhere. But he's like, hey, can you host these guys in the Big Five Live? I'm like, absolutely. He's like, they're from Syracuse. And I'm like, I'm 40 minutes from Syracuse. How the algorithm did not bring these guys up. But I got the hosts of the Multiverse Report tonight. I got Steve and I got Mike, which I got to meet at Free Comic Book Day 2 weeks ago at Funky Town Comics and Vinyl. And I was like, yeah, they got to be on the show. And now I'm just going to go bug them in Syracuse when I can.
Yeah, do it. Come on over.
We're there.
And guys, how are you tonight?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Mike?
Not too bad. I'm doing good. Brandon, thanks for having us. I'm excited to be here.
You're most welcome. So you guys, are you doing a double time in it with my stream tonight? And then you're going to do a stream tomorrow for your show? Or do you record tomorrow?
We record usually Sunday nights, 9:30ish. That's the only time that we're like usually always free. Sometimes we have to bump it to Monday, and even then it's like after Steve's done with something he has every, you know, it's right. You know, I'm sure everybody knows, like, you get jobs and lives and kids and families and things, and you know, you got to find time for your comic book hobbies. It's not just like you can't spend all day necessarily talking comic books, but if you can carve out some time, then you can carve out some time. So ours is Sunday night usually.
Yeah.
But
and we usually don't record per se. Literally everything we do is live. So
nice.
Yeah.
We're we're doing
it live.
Doing it live tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Less
That's
pressure.
Awesome. And you got kids. I'm going to patent the first blowgun tranquilizer for kids, and then we can start doing these shows earlier. No hangover effects, no grogginess. Just knocks them out for the night.
Wow.
But no, guys, I appreciate everyone that takes time to come do this show on a Saturday night. Like I said, you guys are So I've done 20 shows. So you're like guests 68, 67, 68, 69, and 70. So this is freaking fantastic. I'm honored. Let me say hi to the chat quick before we start showing books. Richard, there he is, the first one in the chat.
Richard the man.
Yeah, Richard's the man. Matt likes comics. Another huge.
All right.
This guy is a wellspring of knowledge, especially in the DC lore. He can bust out anything.
Hell yeah.
Rich saying hi to folks. We got Derek Neiman. What's going on, Derek? Chris Parker, another kind of Western New York guy. He goes to his LCS and gets all the new books for me if I can't get him in Funky Town.
Oh, there you go.
We got Doug Botkins, the comic collector coach. What's going on? JSS Brooklyn. Good evening. What's going on, bud?
JSS.
I got to scroll down. Sorry, gang. These guys are chatty. Oh, Matt from Empress Comics. Matt from Empress Comics. He's one of my new pressers and cleaners. He just reached out to me. He is looking for anyone who might have some cheap, giant-sized books from the Bronze Age with white covers similar to GSX1. If anyone has them and does not want them, he will take them off your hands. He's trying to do some techniques with them to work on cleaning books. He said you could have them back, but he's trying some intense techniques. So, the condition of return book is not promised. Celia saying what's up to the chat. We got Cretan Bowl. What's going on, dude? Happy Saturday night. Thank you for once again stopping by. Awesome Toy Box of Troy. What is up, dude? Long time no see. I know you were on the Colossus channel's Council of X. So I see you there. Sal, one part of the Codex Comic Station. We got Cody from Where'd You Get That? What's going on, Cody? Nate from All Yeah Comics. What a panel of awesome folks. Nate's an awesome dude. Thomas Bliss. Thomas, thanks for stopping by. You can always catch the rewind. They're always there, but it is fun live. Steve Holler, thanks for stopping by. And I think
that's just me.
Yeah.
That's you. Oh, Jesus. I didn't see your last name in there. You got to put Multiverse Report or one half the Multiverse
I
Report.
realized after I logged into the connected to StreamYard that it was
there it is.
my personal instead of the Multiverse Report one. So
there it is. So, gang, let's show some freaking comics. Let's talk comic books. I've kind of got the order started or an order laid out of how we're going to do it. It's going to be round robin. Take your time talking about the book. And we got to be gentlemen. So ladies first, I'm going to have Celia jump up and show us her first book for the first round.
Okay, so the first book I wanted to show was one that I got fairly recently, and it is really cool because it combines my love of DC, Batman, and music as well. This is a gift I was given for my anniversary recently, and it's the Dark Knight's Death Metal Ghost variant. This is a pretty rare Mexican release, and it is signed by Papa 4, the leader of Ghosts that you see on the cover there. So,
nice.
Yeah, this is a pretty rare book. You don't see this often, and to find it signed, it was kind of interesting because I was doing a video showing off my Ghost collection, and then he came in and gave this to me to open while I was filming. So, yeah, it was pretty nice, and yeah, that's one of my favorite things to have because it's already hard enough to find, and to have it signed, even more special. So,
Luke gave that to you?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, Luke gave this to me.
What a good husband.
And it was actually kind of a fun story because I saw this and the seller had a lot with a bunch of these others. They did a bunch of different bands with the Dark Knight's metal, and they had a lot. And so I was asking the seller if I could just get this one separated, and he was going to do it, and then he kind of ghosted me, and it was really weird. And then he's saying, oh, the book got damaged, so he couldn't send it. But Luke had gone behind my back and bought it. So, yeah, the fun story behind that one. One of my favorites in my collection. So
that's it. My wife and I have been together for 13 years and married for, we've been together since 2011. So 14 years, been married. It'll be 10 this year. And it took her just till my last birthday to get me a comic. while we were together because I think she was just scared. Like, well, if you don't know comics, to try to gift a comic. So she had once I had YouTube friends, she just reached out on Instagram and she's like, just find me something, So that was a kind, sweet gift. What a good husband. We'll keep around for a bit.
In that vein, Mike has gotten a comic from my wife. I have never gotten a comic from my wife.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
We got him in a Secret Santa a couple of years ago. So
we've been buying each other comics for years, so
that's fantastic.
I kind of got him into comics. He wasn't really a comic guy before me, and before me he was actually more interested in Marvel. Like, he had some Deadpool comics and he read like some of the Marvel Max stuff, and then I moved him over.
Hey, there's room to love it all, right? There's room for everyone. Don't move them all the way over.
He's kind of a Marvel hater these days. Like, I feel like I'm not the biggest fan, but like I'm kind of chill. I think there's some good stuff from both. But now these days he's like he's kind of a hater. Except he likes Jeff the Shark. He wanted the Jeff the Shark comic.
I'll talk about some good Marvel comics tonight. I'm sure other people will, but that's all right. That was a good first starter, Celia. Rich, what do you got for your starting comic? I know everyone gets surprised I do this.
Yeah. Well, me, I went back to the beginning, man. I trying to figure out what 5 comics to pick out. And I thought, I'll just the first one. I think I've showed this one before, but you got to think about your what got you into it and what made you collect them and everything else. And this is my very first comic.
Oh, nice.
Like from your childhood?
Yeah, from my childhood. It's my very first one. I was 10 years old. I conned my mom to finally buy me a comic. I got a cousin that's was into it, before that. And they were pretty stingy with their money, so they didn't really want to buy you comics and stuff. But when I told her, I said, well, I need stuff to read. You tell me I need to read all the time. So I conned her in that way, So she finally bought me this comic. And this is the actual comic. I mean, you see how it's all, well, if I can figure out how to point this damage and all that stuff. It's a well-loved issue. So it's made it through the purges over the years. So, but I mean, it's 1981, it's Roy Thomas, Gil Kane art. So, I mean, it's pretty good starter, actually. It got me into it. So,
yeah, those are great names to be on your first book. Have you books before that and after that? The annuals before that? And have you read the series? Like, have you read the whole series? Have you just read that one? Like, did it cause you to go read more with them?
Yeah, this is the one that got me into Conan, and this being the annual, then when I started reading the regular, that's what made me fall in love with John Buscema, because he was doing the regular run. Gil Kane did this annual, so then I'm like, wait a minute, why is there different artists? My cousin had to explain it to me. They're people do, they jump around, the artists and stuff, but it's still Roy Thomas's, stories. So, but and that's what that's my favorite artist is John Buscema, So, but yeah, this is the one that got me started. So,
hell yeah,
thought I'd show that off, give it a little love. Don't get pulled out a whole lot. So,
I love it. I love it when people bring the first comic they own, and it's the first comic. That's like the best. Like, if you can hold on to it. I had to rebuy mine because I cut pictures out of it and used them for weird stuff. Hey, thanks, Matt.
And I've come across this one several times, and I thought, really nice copies. And I'm like, no, I mean, I could go ahead and buy it, but this is
not that copy. Yeah,
it's not this copy. So
well played. Mike Gibson.
Oh, I'm up, huh?
I'm excited to see what you brought tonight.
First of all, I'm going to say that I'm already like questioning my picks, and I feel like I'm going to go over to my boxes and like make some.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair.
I'm going to make
you and me both, brother.
But I'm sticking with at least my first one because this is a series that I love. And short or quick plug for myself. I'm a comic book writer. Also, I have a book on Kickstarter right now. Thanks for showing it, Brandon.
We're going to show it all at the end, baby.
Okay, great.
But keep talking about talk
okay,
about
the book that's on Kickstarter right now is called I Brought a Gorilla to a Gunfight, and it's about a female bounty hunter in the Old West who throws knives and rides a giant gorilla. Her partner is a giant gorilla, I should say. Now, it's like an action kind of packed book, but I kind of wanted to make like the characters like feel like real and have like real connections with each other. And when I was looking for the tone of how to write that, I really thought about this series that I love, Gail Simone's Birds of Prey. This is the first issue of her run, which I have read. I don't have all the issues physically. I've read the entire thing digitally. Every time, it was a pretty decent run, her run on Birds of Prey. Every time I see an issue that I don't have, I grab it. I'm trying to get the entire run, although I think there is an omnibus coming out this summer, so I'm excited about that to get a collected edition. Yes, Richard, you did. Thank you so much for supporting that on Kickstarter. But yeah, Birds of Prey was like a book that was like struggling up and down for a while, and they gave it to her. She was a fairly new comic book writer at the time, and she knocked it out of the park and made it one of the top sellers at DC for a time. And she's done incredible work on Red Sonja and Deadpool, and she's writing X-Men right now, and currently it's just great. But like that kind of tone of having like, let's have tons of action, and let's draw all the characters incredibly, impossibly attractive looking. But at the same time, you can get away with that stuff if you're writing the characters to feel like real people and have real interactions. And, if you're giving them their own agency, then it all works. And so that's kind of the tone I was going for when I brought a gorilla to a gunfight. So I figured I'd shout that out and shout out this book. And, this is kind of a stand-in for the entire run is what I'm saying. Like, it's not just this book that I treasure. It's really the entire run and the storytelling that she does within that run that I think is excellent. Really great. Really great.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that'll be interesting because I backed it too. When I get my copy, when I get my issue, I'll keep that in mind. And now you're going to make me go back and read Birds of Prey.
Yeah, it's not like obvious because there's no gorillas in Birds of Prey, like that I remember, but it's not like, but it was just kind of like the tone that I was going for when I was writing it. That's kind of what I was looking for.
I like it. Got to have inspiration somewhere, right?
That's right.
Steve, what you got?
I went with the rich end of things. I don't know, it probably wasn't the first comic I had, but it was in a box of comics back in 1991 that were all weirdly individual issues that my parents randomly got me mail order. Don't ask. I have no idea. I grew up in the middle of absolute nowhere, literally Boonville, New York.
I know where that is. There's nothing. That's a little nowhere than me.
Right, exactly. So, middle of nowhere comics is right in my wheelhouse. But we would go down to Utica, to the big city back then, and like hit the spindle at Barnes and Noble or Walden Books back then. And I would randomly look at stuff. And one year, Santa brought me a big thing, like individual issues of like Mighty Thor when it wasn't Thor, and like old ASM runs and whatever. And one that stuck with me was the Bagley art on ASM 345, which, as you can see, is a wonderful cover here. That is completely missing. So this is the 1991 copy that I had from that box. One of those things that just sent me down the rabbit hole. Thankfully, our friend Jeff over at Funky Town, when he was closing his prior shop, because he got out of the game for a while, he had a big sale when he was closing, and ended up having a very nice copy of it sitting on the shelf that I got for the frequent flyers discount. And but yeah, ASM 345, like killer cover, one of the original Cletus issues. I think it was the second appearance of. It was when Carnage gets infected, or when Cletus gets infected, I believe. In general, it was just one of those that was early and seminal in getting me into comics in general, and just the medium. So it was kind of a part of a package deal, but similar to Mike, it wasn't just that book; it was what that book represented.
That's freaking awesome.
Exactly.
And the fact you had to go down to Utica, that's
yeah, it was like 25, 30 miles to find any place that had a comic.
That was me too, growing up in Hamilton, man. Like, we had a tobacco shop that had comics, so like it was called Ross's Tobacco Shop, and they had a spinner rack.
Yep.
And that's where I remember seeing Predator, the first issue of Predator. when I was a kid and being like, oh my God, so like,
Cool.
I have that book. It's just not the one I picked up from back then because I was
Right.
not great with my comics, but well done.
Well, as you can see, I wasn't very great with mine either.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
I like Mark Bagley Spider-Man too.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right. I'm going with it gets tough for me because like I host a show, so I always have to like keep rotating books to make sure I show different ones. But
Yeah.
I went with a theme tonight. I'm going with all signed books. So I'm glad
wow,
some
okay.
signed
There you
books. This is Smarg issue 1. This is an independent comic written by Paul Halgren, and the art is by Jesse Switter. And this was a duo that was featured on my buddy Jay and Baxter's Jab's Expensive Paper channel. And they interviewed the creators. And I was like, oh, man, that's a beautiful cover. Like I was commenting on it. And he recently sent me an AOK of a couple books. And this was one of them. And he was nice enough to have it signed by the creators. And it was really cool. I love the art. I think the cover and the color palette he chose is really unique and cool. And I like the story in this. I love like just, with no characters that we have any kind of emotional attachment to from DC, Marvel, Boom Studios, Image, whatever have you, like it's fun to just be introduced to new characters. And this is a really fun book. These two guys are friends and one's a superhero on his planet. And instead of like swearing, they use like their own, they talk in English, but like they use their own language to swear. So they can still do those things and get away with it. And,
Sure.
a kid could still read it and not get it. So I think these guys did a wonderful job on it. I love the cover. And I really dig signed books from the creators. I wish I could meet them. I think it's more, personable, more intimate when you meet them and get to have it signed. But if I love something enough that's signed by someone else, I'll definitely buy it. Yeah, Chris, I'll get this ready to show the interior art. And we're going to go on to round 2. And I'm going to actually show the books I'm giving away tonight. And then I will have the hashtag and people can enter while we're doing the next round. So really cool. Same kind of color choice.
Oh man.
As
Nice.
as the cover.
Unique style on that too.
Yeah.
Really funny, really good quirky comedy. Reminds me very much Guardians of the Galaxy style.
That,
in there.
that
The
cover's
banter between
definitely-
the characters is fun.
Oh yeah, that cover's definitely one of those where you'd see it on the rack or on the shelf, and you're just like, I'm gonna at least look at the interior.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta take a look at what that is.
All right. So to thank the viewers, everyone stopping by, and the panel, you're more than welcome to get in on this too. These are the giveaway books for tonight. I'll ship them anywhere in the world. And so please enter. So Jay and Baxter just gifted me a really nice slabbed version of Something Is Killing the Children, this Jenny Frison cover, issue 16. I've got a raw cover too. And so I can read. And I had this extra one. I was like, I got to give this away. I love Jenny Frison. I think she does beautiful art. And I love this series. So I had an extra one. So I got to spread the love.
Nice.
The next one, if you didn't get to make it to Free Comic Book Day, I'm giving away the Mark Spears Monsters. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Mark Spears lately. He has been in the comic book zeitgeist. You can't not see his name. And I like his art. And I thought like the monsters remind me of Monster Squad. They look very close to those monsters. And I was like, I got to read it. So I read it and the art is cool, but the story really got me. Like it's some dark stuff in this one. And I was like,
clown.
oh my God. Yeah, there's a clown and it's a cannibal and he's got a little girl. It is freaking creepy. And I was like, all right, cool. I see why people like this guy. And the protagonist in the story is really cool that shows up. So I'm all in. I just got to find the cheaper, people are trying to hawk them at such high prices. And that's what you get with the modern variant game and stuff. So I just need to find the cheaper copies to read because this was really fun. So if you didn't make it a Free Comic Book Day, and then don't hate on my Marvel glam. I got Predator vs. Spider-Man. I'm a huge Predator fan, so anytime I see him crossover, and this isn't for kids. It is gory. It is everything you want to see with a Predator comic. Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a wearing faces of his victims. Pretty crazy. Yeah, so really cool, really well done. I'm looking forward to this series. I believe it's a 4-part series. And what happens at the end of this, you would hope for this person to show up, and they do. So I know it's going to get really interesting.
Nice.
So got to give one of those away.
That's cool to hear. That's cool to hear because I feel like Spider-Man is always such he's like a hard PG-13 character. Like I've read there's like rules around Spider-Man. Like you can't even have him holding a beer or anything. Like he is PG-13 character. So when I saw that they were doing a Predator versus Spider-Man, I was like, how that's probably going to favor the Spider-Man more than it's going to favor the Predator. But if you're saying it's gory, then I guess I'm
As
wrong.
I read through, I was like, oh man, like skin bodies like Predator does and stuff.
wow.
I was like,
That sounds
okay.
awesome.
I think they knew. They were like, we can't, if we're gonna put him in here, we're gonna have to show like, what a Predator does. So
The people
it's
that
cool.
are buying it are going to expect that.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yes,
Predator,
and if they give it
versus
to us,
Wolverine,
yes,
right.
yes,
Predator Wolverine made sense.
it
Like,
did.
Okay. And also the fact in that series that like they had generational beef. Like it
I
was
loved
multiple
it.
hundreds of years that they covered.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's so cool. I didn't realize
it was
that.
great.
Oh, that's amazing.
I bought the first issue when I was up in Syracuse at Funky Town, and then I
Yeah.
didn't get any more, and then I just picked up the trade at Comic Zone.
Yep.
And I tore through it, and it's like it follows him through his whole life.
Oh,
Yep.
that's
And-
so cool. That's
Yeah,
so
they just
cool
keep crossing paths and doing exactly what you'd expect Predator and Wolverine to do.
It
Sure.
was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
One more free comic book day book. Rich definitely entered. Scourge of the Serpent, little Conan story. I was sad there wasn't a serpent in this, but it definitely tells like what Conan's about if you're a new reader to Conan and what he does.
Delatorre cover there too. Also,
Yep. And then last book, because I got to give a little love for Man Thing. What are the Fantastic Four? All had the same power. This is really cool because when they all become the Thing, Sue Storm becomes the Man Thing. So that was they did her dirty, but Ted's pretty cool. So yeah, hashtag 20 in the chat. Anyone who wants to enter, and I will ship these anywhere to you on Monday. So just hashtag 20 in the chat, and after this round, I'll pull up the StreamYard random giveaway tool, and we'll give them away. So hashtag 20, just the numbers. All right, round 2. Steve, let's start with you, brother.
Okay,
Oh,
so we're
switching
snake
it up.
crafting this.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
All right. Let's go with Mike won't be surprised. Hunger in the Dusk. Actually, the only reason I'm showing the number 2 issue with Cliff Chang variant is the fact that Mike has my number 1.
Right here. I actually
you
do
go.
right here in my hand.
That's great.
I read it months ago and haven't given it back to you.
Love it. So Hunger in the Dusk is just a killer new series, newish, came out last year from G. Wellig Wilson writing it and Chris Wildgoose, I believe, on art. Traditional orcs versus humans with a weird twist. If you like high fantasy, if you like stuff in that vein, it's a very different take. There's like a third party type thing, and it's a lot of fighting, but also politics between the orcs and humans, and it's just a refreshing take on an old trope that G. Will Wilson, who we interviewed on the channel, I think last year, absolutely kills it on. Like between that and a couple of her other recent runs, they've been like Poison Ivy was absolutely great.
Yeah, she's excellent.
But yeah, she's always good, and it's a refreshing indie take on a classic trope.
Hunger in the Dark. Can you show that again?
Hunger in the Dusk.
In the Dusk? Okay, good. I'm
Dusk.
writing this down. I always end up writing all the series. So is that a limited series or is it ongoing?
No, it's still ongoing. So the
Okay,
way she framed it was like last year they put out what she called book 1. So it's kind of like old fantasy novels where you would get the different books, but it's like arcs. So it's like a 10-issue arc, and then another. They're currently in the middle of book 2.
That's awesome. Always looking for new, especially indie stuff to read.
And I'll second that because I'm someone who's not really into high fantasy, but like I said, I read the first issue and I thought it was excellent. Like it was really great. Like it hooked somebody that isn't necessarily, I'm not really into like elves and orcs and swords and sandals and that kind of thing all the time, but I thought it was great. It was excellent because it's done in a different kind of, there's a different kind of thrust to it that I didn't expect. Yeah, it's really great.
I like it. The hard sell from the writer himself. I'll take it. Mike, I got you up next.
Oh, cool. My next book is not a single issue because it was not released in single issues that I know of. I don't believe. This is a pretty recent entry, and I just grabbed it because I was looking at stuff that really just got to me recently, and this kind of blew my mind. It is a book called "It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth" by Zoe Thorogood. I don't know if you guys have read this. Zoe Thorogood, she does like covers and stuff for DC and Marvel stuff now, but this is her second book. Her first book was called The Impending Blindness of Billy Scott, which I heard a lot of hype for. I haven't read it. And this is her follow-up to this book. And as much as I love superheroes, I'm a big DC guy. As much as I love capes and, you know, superpowers and all that kind of stuff, I do love a comic that is just kind of like slice of lifey. And maybe there's not even much of a plot. Maybe it's just kind of like, you know, somebody expressing themselves via the medium. And that's kind of what this is. And it's done in a way that really knocked me out. And it's rare for somebody, like anybody that's in this, you know, watching this or participating in this stream tonight. I think it's rare for us to read a comic and go, oh, I didn't know comics could do that, because we've been reading comics forever, right? And this was a book where I read and I was like, oh, page turns that just knocked me back. Like I didn't expect, I didn't think comics could do this. And it's really just her kind of thinking about her struggles with depression and anxiety, her struggles with suicidal thoughts. Like it goes some pretty dark places, but in a way that is very digestible and very relatable to anyone who's ever felt anxiety or any kind of depression in any way, myself included. It just really was outstanding. So she's the writer and the author, and she does a lot of, there's a lot of symbolism, a lot of very creative ways that she visualizes her feelings and her thoughts, creative ways that she combats those things. And it's also like a meta commentary on her own success as a writer and illustrator. So I would highly recommend this book. It's an Image, I believe. Yeah, Image Comics book called It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth. It honestly might be one of the best graphic novels I've ever read. So I would highly recommend this to anybody who is interested in any of the things I just said.
I would love, yeah, that sounds very interesting.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Sometimes it's easier just to grab a graphic novel and just get it all like that.
Yeah, well, I think this was released as a graphic novel, so I don't think it was ever.
There's no issues, but it's done in like a comic form.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely like panels, and let's find a good representation of the. I mean, yeah, like it alternates between black and white and color. Oh. So yeah, it's full comic book mastery. And
okay, cool.
Yeah. Like she does this thing where, you know, it's like the way she visualizes, like she feels worms under her skin as part of like her anxiety. Like it's kind of gross, but it's really like cool and also relatable, because we kind of feel that way when we get all like itchy and wormy and squirmy and anxious. So like, you know, it's really, really good. Like I can't recommend it enough.
I like it. I just wrote it down. I end up having to go to eBay and buy a lot of stuff after these shows.
Sure. Yeah.
What do you got for us, bud?
All right. Well, anybody knows my show or watches my channel, you know, I call it oddness goodness. And I dollar bin a lot, dollar bin dive a lot. I'm a dollar bin king, you know, and I try to turn people on to not to be afraid to dig in the dollar bins, you know, and because you never know what you're going to find. And this is a book I found, and it's called Oink by John Mueller or however you pronounce the name. I'm horrible with names, but yeah, it's about a kind of a after, you know, what do you call it? After the bomb goes off.
Post-apocalyptic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's, you know, it's this run here it's called Heaven's Butcher. There were two different runs, two different little short, this one's three issue run. The other one was I think it was a 3-issue run also. But it just follows this character here. You know, he's a man-pig hybrid that they created to basically make, you know, into slaves, I guess we can say that. But it's pretty crazy. It goes through and jumps around, and he realizes his worth and and fights for his freedom, and it's just a crazy thing.
Try to rock her. Give her one more baba. Sorry.
It's all right.
Keep going.
But this came out in '95. Like I said, you know, story arts by John Mueller, and I've traced down some of his other stuff. And I'm a very visual guy. A lot of my art a lot of my comics are art driven. You know, within my collection, you know, I follow a lot of different artists, and when I come across somebody, it really piques my interest with their art. You know, I tend to search out the rest of their work and go that route. It's not that I don't like a good story, because I do like a good story, but the art's usually what grabs me first, like a lot of people, I think. But so this right here is, I love Simon Bisley, so this is very reminiscent of the Simon Bisley style, or whatever. So, but yeah, it's
would you say that's would you say R-rated art in that?
Yes, it's very violent. It's not child friendly at all. No.
Okay. I like to, sometimes I do have some people with kids rewatch a channel, and I like to throw it out there. Sure. That yeah. I mean, I can tell from the cover it's probably not a superhero related story.
I mean, the story is there, but yeah, as far as everything else goes on it, yeah, you wouldn't want to show your kids this. And it's not, it's, I don't know, I guess, yeah. But
I love it. Oink. I wrote that down too. Celia, what do you got for your second book?
Okay, well, like Rich, I also really love dollar bin diving. I do a lot of that stuff on my channel, and I just like showing people some of the cool stuff you can find. And very recently I had like my best dollar bin hunt yet. I caught them like right as they were putting some new stuff out. One of the shops in my area, they're mainly a dollar bin shop, and so picked up this book, which is probably one of the best dollar books I've grabbed, and it's DC Comics Presents 47, and this is the first appearance of the Masters of the Universe in comics. So amazing dollar bin find right there, and it's low grade. There's a big chunk missing from the back cover, but I'm just happy to have it in some way.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. He-Man coming out with a new movie soon. We're getting new Masters, right? So
yeah,
it was a good book to find. I don't know why. I just had a feeling that this was going to be in that stack. Like I could see it in my brain before I found the book. I don't know, but there was some good stuff that day. I found a lot that was really good, like a Shadow #1 from the Bronze Age.
I saw that video. Yeah, I saw that video you made. Yeah, you found some good stuff. That's a great dollar find. I don't care what grade it's in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this
absolutely.
I love the Superman ups like that. So
yeah, no, it's
DC
sick.
Comics Presents, great.
I love hearing success stories from the dollar bin. I don't get to. I've actually in Funky Towns I found some good stuff in their bins.
Yeah, every once in a while they'll have a couple gems smattered in there.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, this is Gutter Comics in Buffalo. They are like the best dollar bin shop. Like pretty much they put everything in the dollar bins. If they get like silver or bronze, normally they'll put it out for like $5, but this day, since they were just like putting all this stuff out and I was filming, I had like 12 books and they charged me like $10 for it. So normally get
very nice.
deals. So
Good stuff. I like it.
Yeah.
And He-Man, I need that book being a He-Man fan. And I'm interested to see what the new movie looks like. From what I've read, they've really like stayed close to like the cartoon color palette and characters. So
cool.
That's great.
I hope it's good. All right, my second book, it happens to be one that my buddy Jay gave me too, and I love Something Is Killing the Children. So this is issue number 31, and it's a Mike Mayhew signed variant, and really grateful to have a cover signed by anyone who worked on this series. But it's a really awesome like painted cover of Erica Slaughter, and with her awesome weapons, with monsters in the background. So I fell in love with this series. People, before I started reading modern comics, I was mostly collecting silver and bronze and copper, and those stories are quirky and they're campy and they're lens into that time. So people are like, oh man, you're a horror fan, you got to be reading this series. Like, what are you doing? And people finally got me into it, but I love how her eyes are drawn here too. You can see one eye.
Great.
Oh yeah.
So I was laughing, not out of laughing, but out of the fact that what you just said is exactly what Mike did to me with that series. You'd probably like this. You need to read this. And next thing I know, I'm like, oh, all right, I'll just buy all the trades that I possibly can and go.
Yep. I took my daughter to our public library. I take my kids to the library on rainy days. And I'm like, do you guys have trade paperbacks for comics? And they're like, yeah. And they had the first 6 volumes. And I rented out the first one, and I just tore through it the first night. And I went back and rented the rest of them and tore through it in like a week. And then I was like, I just want to get one of every issue. Yeah. And then like I didn't care who did the cover. Like if I liked the cover, I got it. If it was cheaper than the regular version, I bought it, just to have it. So that was my number 2.
Yeah, I kind of randomly heard about that book from somewhere. Like I heard it was coming out, and so I have like every issue up through like the 20 something. Like I fell off like in the mid 20s somewhere, but that was just a book that, I mean, it's called Something Is Killing the Children. I was like, that's enough. That's a selling point for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it's about. I don't know, but that's I heard it's good. I heard it's coming out. I heard, good things about the writer. I think, I don't think I had read much of other James Tynion stuff at that point. And he went on to do like a Batman run and stuff like that. Some more like high prestige stuff, but that might've been the first thing that I actually was conscious of reading by him, at least. And yeah, it's like R-rated Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like how you can't go wrong with that. It's incredible. And yeah, I was just immediately started telling everybody that I knew. I was like, you have to read this. You have to read this. You have to read this. You have to read this.
Yep.
It's the best. Yeah.
Yeah. No, fantastic series. And I'm glad, like I was missing a bunch of issues, but when I was at Comic Zone for Free Comic Book Day, I was in the line to get free comics, and I happened to look to the left and all their back issues were right there. And anything that was $5 was $1. So I picked up like 14 issues to fill my run. And then I looked to my right and the new releases were over there and they had issue 41. I was like, oh, sweet. So like, it was just like, it makes your free comic book day when you get a bunch of stuff you're actually looking for. So
yeah, for real. It's perfect.
Oh yeah.
All right. Before we go on to the next round, I'm just going to do this giveaway quick for everyone that did hashtag 20. We got 12 entries. Brian, LCS. Congratulations, Brian, LCS. I'll be sending these books to you, dude. Well done.
Congrats.
So, Brian, I'll get these out to you on Monday, brother. I'll hit you up on Instagram for your shipping address. All right, round 3. We made it to round 3. And the first one up is going to be my buddy Mike.
Oh, all right.
What do you got for round 3, Mike?
Well, I don't know if you saw me like take some jumps away from the screen.
I did. I love that when it happens during the show.
Like,
when people start questioning their senses.
And like, well, I feel like I would like Steve was doing most of the communication back and forth with you. So I didn't really like even know what this was going to be until recently. And then I didn't even like start picking books until a half hour before. And then I'm like, I should have spent way more time prepping. And I'm sorry if you ever have me on again, I'll spend a week figuring out top 5 books. But this one is that I love. Again, this is representative of like an entire run that is very close to my heart that I love very much. This is issue number 7 of Swamp Thing. This is the Alan Moore run of Swamp Thing, where he goes to Gotham City and fights Batman for the first time. He's trying to rescue his girlfriend who's been taken prisoner or something. I haven't read the entire series in a while. But this is such a fun issue. And like the entire Alan Moore run of Swamp Thing is the greatest thing ever written, ever published in comics. It's just incredible. And this one is a highlight for me. And I love that I have the actual issue of it. I have several others of the Alan Moore one, but they're not always hard. They're not always easy to find, and they're not always cost effective for me when I do find them. So yeah, exactly. Like the fact that the funniest panel in I don't know, for me, one of the funniest panels in all of comics is Batman jumping out of the Batmobile with just like a tank of weed killer on his back and just starting to spray it at Swamp Thing. It's so funny, but it's so like something that Batman would do, right? Like logically this will defeat this enemy, but then it's not enough, and he it's just seeing Swamp Thing slowly completely take over Gotham City as just like exploring how powerful he is and what he can do if he really is pushed to do it. I don't know, it's a great book. And like when I started reading Alan Moore Swamp Thing, I didn't know where it went. I didn't know all of the stuff that was in store for me. And so I didn't expect him to ever meet up with Batman. So when I got this far, I have all the trades, so I was reading him in trade form. So when I got to this, I was like, oh no way, really? This is gonna happen? And it delivered. It delivered. And I love it. I love the whole run. And this is an issue that I love that I own. Yeah.
Always love that cover.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I do love Swamp Thing, even though
Bernie Wrightson.
Even though Man Thing's my boy, I do love Swamp Thing. And yeah, like I've read some Justice League Dark. I watched the cartoons, and Swamp Thing is like when they need someone badass, they go to Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah,
there's only one person that's going to be able to even this playing field, you know.
Yeah, and Alan Moore is really responsible, I think, for like pumping up his power set and like figuring out like, wait, if he is what he is, then he should be able to do way more than what he's been able to do. So let's figure out how he can just like go into the green and then teleport somewhere else. Like all that crazy stuff comes from Alan Moore, and it's just like really levels up the character and makes him way more interesting.
I think that's where they missed the mark with Man Thing, in that he was born of the swamps, but he doesn't, like, you would think he had the ability to communicate with plants and stuff like Swamp Thing does, but he doesn't. I mean, he does guard the Nexus of Realities, which is pretty important, but that's it's not a swamp related thing, you know. It just happens to be there. So I think that's where DC hit a home run with Swamp Thing, especially Alan Moore, in developing that power set, because you just think that's how it should go, you know.
Yeah, well, like I've read early Swamp Thing stuff too, and I like that too. Like like Man Thing has a specific like goal. He's guarding the Nexus of Reality. Like Swamp Thing early books is like, I agree with you, Beefy Bites. Swamp Thing, no offense, Brandon. Swamp Thing, like in the early books, is just like, I'm a monster and I'm just like kind of stumbling into adventure after adventure. I don't.
That's
really
Man Thing.
And yeah, it was very similar, right? They were like kind of similar. And then when Alan Moore takes over, he kind of not only like upgrades his powers and is able to like get him to go into like other realities and out in space and stuff. Like he comes with all this insane, crazy stuff. Classic Alan Moore. He also kind of makes just a book about like meditations on what it means to be alive and what it means to be human and all this like super deep stuff that you wouldn't expect from a character whose name is Swamp Thing. But like, it just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense when you're in it, and it is just the greatest. It's just the greatest.
I love it. I do love Swamp Thing. I will give you that. Celia, what do you got for round 3?
All right, so I wanted to bring one of my favorite recent books I've been reading, because I do really like picking up new comics. So grabbed Absolute Green Lantern #1, and this is the 1 in 25 variant. I actually got this at the same shop that I got the Dollar Bin book from, and they always put the ratio variants out for cover price, so picked this one up a few weeks back, like a month back or whatever. And yeah, this is one of my favorites. I did a review on my channel if anyone is interested in hearing more about it. And I like horror, so I really like that they kind of went with a horror sort of feel for this. And they made some changes to Green Lantern, but I think it's all really cool, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. So
that's a beautiful cover. Have you been enjoying the Absolute universe?
Oh yeah, for the most part. I haven't read Flash and Martian Manhunter, but
let
me tell you.
Read Martian Manhunter yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, all right, I will.
Absolute Martian Manhunter is excellent. I think Absolute Flash is excellent also. They're doing some real cool things with Flash that seems so like obvious that they should have done for years and years and years, like not being like just someone that's not really in control of the speed. Things are going so fast. But yeah, that Green Lantern book was really good, and that's one that I didn't really, I don't know why, but I didn't like expect much from the Green Lantern book. I was like, they're starting with so many characters at once, but like I really thought it was a great jumping off point for the series. Yeah.
Fantastic. Guys making me want to read DC.
Well, that's Absolute actually is the thing that got me into, like, I'm X-Men shirt, literally. Look at any of the books around here. They're all Marvel for the most part.
That's why Steve and I get along so well. He's a Marvel guy and I'm a DC
guy. It's a nice yin and yang.
Yeah.
And but Mike finally pierced the veil with this Absolute run. Right now on my pull is literally all of the Absolute books, because they're killing it with all of them.
Yeah, they're excellent.
They're all very unique takes on old established characters that we've known for years.
Yeah.
And that's part of why I never liked Batman books, because it was always Batman doing the same damn thing over and over in different scenarios. Yes,
Not
I know.
true.
Mike.
We just got to find the right book, Steve.
Maybe this is a good time for me to jump in then and start. Maybe I'll just start with the Absolute Universe. And
They're far enough along in Batman and Superman that I think they're putting trades out soon. So it may not be a bad spot to pop in.
I love it. Well done. Okay, so you guys are selling me on the Absolute Universe. What do we got?
Like, I wasn't expecting that much out of Absolute Green Lantern. I mean,
Yeah,
I love Green Lantern, but I don't know, that just maybe the way that they marketed it just didn't really seem like much. But then reading it, it really kind of blew me away. And issue 2 was really good. It just adds like a little bit, but yeah, they're doing a really good job of building the suspense and the horror. So I like it. Very gory. Yeah, not for kids. Definitely not.
That's the thing I was surprised with the Green Lantern, that it was almost as like a body horror kind of like thing.
Like the Green Lantern isn't necessarily good in this, you know?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's kind of like an alien invasion sort of thing, as opposed to the traditional like Green Lantern Corps.
Right.
Ooh, okay, so that's a take. All right, okay. Wow, you guys are giving me the hard sell. Yes, Ryan, we can all enjoy DC and Marvel too. It's okay.
Of course.
It is true.
What do you got, Steve?
Well, living up to the Marvel end of things, have to go with one of the seminal works of the master himself, Chris Claremont, with God Loves Man Kills, the 1982, I believe it was Marvel graphic novel number 5. Did not have a title when released, but just one of those arcs, like one of those works that was one of the first ones that made me think about what comics could do as a medium. Read this probably 20 plus, well, what year is it? More than 20 years ago. And like Claremont and Brent Anderson on the art just absolutely captured everything they were looking to tell in this story. It's a tale as old as time, for better or most likely worse. Well, definitely for worse. There's no most likely about that. But like, part of the reason that Nightcrawler becomes one of my favorite characters, part of the reason that Kitty Pryde moves to the forefront, like there's all these pieces of this arc that were just like made an impression on a late teen kid in the middle of nowhere. So God Loves Man Kills.
I got to get that. I've been dying. Everyone I know, it's like a just his seminal work, and it's amazing. I have to get a copy of it, and just
been on my list for a while.
I know.
So this version is it's a collected that also has a bunch of narratives by Claremont. So it's got the actual graphic novel, but then also like interviews and pieces in the back with them explaining like what they did on certain panels and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of a nice deluxe edition that I grabbed. But yeah, definitely worth a read.
That's sick. I am in a spot right now where I'm reading so much. Like I have Planet Hulk, the whole graphic novel, his collected work next to my bed. I have If It Bleeds for the Predator series, and I can tell I'm probably going to have that book soon. Like I'm going back and forth, just digesting as much as I can. As like that's become like my new nighttime thing. I don't know if anyone else does it, but I've just gotten off my phone. In the last half hour, I lay in bed and I read, whether it's a graphic novel or comics. And I'll tell you what, it's really great for the mental health. Just even if the comics aren't exactly like something killing the children.
Yeah,
it's not like for kids. Like,
great bedtime story.
Yeah, great bedtime story. But well, I love. No one showed that before, so I'm glad you did, Steve. I've been waiting for that book to make its appearance.
Yeah, it doesn't read the same as it would back in 1982 when it was released, but it's definitely like look at it through that lens when you're reading it, just because modern comics and modern graphic novels have developed since that time, but it still hits.
But yes, Steve, that's like you told me that you were singing that book's praises for a long time, and I finally found a copy of it and bought it for myself, a collected edition of it. And it's like, and I had heard that title for a long time before you even like told me about it, but I was like, okay, yeah. But it is, for today you ask anyone that reads X-Men comics and you're like, oh yeah, it's an allegory for, you know, the LGBTQ community or just, you know, in general racism. Like it's like that's what the X-Men are, right? That's what the movies ran with that idea as well.
Civil rights.
Civil rights, exactly. That whole idea starts with God loves, man kills, and it's not even like an allegory. Like they are like hitting it on the head. It's like in your face. Like that's where that whole thing starts. Like, you know, I love Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, but like issue 1 of X-Men doesn't necessarily like bring in those like allegorical comparisons necessarily, but like that book is where all that stuff comes from, I really think.
Absolutely. I got to read it.
Yeah.
All right. My third book, this Richard Westphal, man, I did not expect this. I just had a package. You know, like as comic collectors, when you order something online, like you know what's coming in at all times, right? You're that meme looking out your window, waiting for it to arrive. So like when I pull into my driveway and I see a Gemini sitting there, I'm like, I know I didn't order anything last week. What's going on? Like, this isn't supposed to be. And it's Richard Westphal. He lives out west. And he sent me this book. And as lucky as Mike and Steve and I were to have Joe Jusko at our LCS for Free Comic Day signing, Ron Lim was at Richard Westphal's.
Wow.
And so this is Daredevil 258. This is the only issue he ever worked on for Daredevil. And he created this character, the Bangle, for it.
Yeah. I love that issue. I've got that. I've had that one forever.
This is now on my reading list, obviously, but to have, you know, Ron Lim is a legend. You know, probably more well known for his cosmic stuff and Captain America work, but I mean, I love Daredevil. He's my favorite street level hero. And when I got this, I was just blown away. Like, for this community is great when people take the time to think of you and like get something that you care about. I mean, this is the only Daredevil book he worked on, so like, you know, for Richard to find it and have him sign it, I really appreciated it. And just a huge act of kindness. Great Daredevil artwork. I mean, it's just a great cover.
For real.
That's awesome.
So I've acquired signatures I never thought, you know, Ron Lim, John Buscema, Stanley. I've got signatures I never dreamed I'd acquire. So this is in the Forever collection. I've started to send some of them to get verified for my kids. I'm going to pass these down to my kids. And someday when I've left these, you know, mortal coils, I don't want them to have to be questioned by whoever's trying to buy the books, you know, that is in fact who it says on it. So yeah, Daredevil 258. Thank you, Richard. If you're in the chat, dude, I appreciate you very much, man.
Love it.
Nice. Awesome.
All right, Big Nasty. What you got for us?
Well, like I was saying, I'm very visual, and going back to my first book and what I talked about, what led me into John Buscema's world. So then I started years back slowly trying to piece together all his work. Well, he has a vast collection of work. I mean, he's the only artist that's, you know, really beat out Jack Kirby as far as pin to page, you know, as far as the count. So it's going to take me a long time, but this is one of my favorite covers and books that he done. Is Fantastic Four, Hulk versus Thing. Wow,
gorgeous!
You know,
a thing of beauty right there.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice copy too. It's being the black, you know, the black cover. It's a really nice copy. But yeah, it's like the second time they fought or something like that in the series. I think the first time was around Fantastic Four issue, I think 24, 25 or something.
25, yeah.
And so yeah, this book, man, I just, because of the art, because of who did it, you know, and it's just to me, it's iconic. I've got the other one. Where's the other one? It's up on the wall. It's the Submariner one, you know.
I think that's the best one.
Yeah, it's been a toss up. When I was looking, I was like, I really like this one better because of the Hulk. Because I really liked how he drew the Hulk back then. You know, I don't know, he just definitely just, you know, very distinctive, you know, style and stuff for himself. You know how he does, but it's got your little tagline right there. You know, Mon. You know, enough said.
Enough said, baby.
Enough said.
There was something else I was going to pull out. I forgot I was going to show it, but I might
pull it out in the next round. It's all right. It's all right.
That's fine, yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a good old Stan Lee and John Buscema. So
Yeah, that's a class. That's my favorite thing. Battle cover versus the Hulk. It's just two Goliaths, and they make the Hulk look much bigger than the Thing there too. Which I always found interesting.
Which is kind of hard when you think about doing just all black like that. You really got to have your characters drawn correctly as far as proportion and angle and all that stuff, because it'll really show all your flaws because it'd be the same thing as any solid color background. No matter what the color is, it's just going to make it pop more. So I
love it. I love it. Hey, why don't you stay right on and start us off on round 4, my friend?
Okay.
I'm gonna double you up on you. Were you ready?
Yeah. Okay. I always talk about my oddness goodness, so I had to pull one out just to shake things up and maybe throw you guys off a little bit or whatever. But it's the naive interdimensional commando koalas.
Yes.
What?
Takes you back to 1986. Yeah, 1986. It's back the turtle craze where everybody was doing anamorphic, animals and stuff. And then you even got the what you call it, the
Abbey Road.
Well, Abbey Road Crossing, but the guys in the Winnebago there, it's the something gerbils or something. If Eric,
radioactive hamsters or gerbils. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, it's the adolescent. It says it right on the front there.
Oh yeah, it does. The adolescent. Yeah, the adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters.
Yeah. Can you see everyone sitting in boardrooms like, okay, guys, what do you got? What are we coming up with this week?
If Eric from SideQuest was in the chats, he loves this. So does Nate. But
someone had a meeting and said, "Hey, someone open a thesaurus and let's figure this out." Yeah.
Get all the animals together.
Yeah. But what I like about this book is that they're all named Bruce. The koalas in the book, they're all named Bruce. So when they're talking, they're going, "Hey Bruce, you need to do this." Well, "Hey Bruce, you need to do that," or blah blah blah. And it's like, which one are they talking about? It's like very confusing and stuff, but it's fun. It's just fun. This is one you could probably read to the kids. It's they get transported from Australia. The book starts out upside down, and then they get they're in a rock band. So then their music somehow transports them to our world, and then once they're in this world, they get the hijinks starts, and then they get captured by the army, and then the army turns them into like soldiers of fortune or something, make them go on a mission. So it's kind of just wacky fun, man. So
because comics,
awesome. Calls comics. Yep. Like I said, back in the 80s, good 80s goodness, man. So
that's fantastic. Colossus Collector had a good point. It makes me wonder if there can truly be any more original characters. This feels like we got them all.
Mike, you're gonna have to scrap your idea for your next book because it looks like they did it back in the 80s.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did have a ninja koala book
commando.
Yeah.
All right, Steve. What do you got, brother?
Oh, which one to go with next? All right. Well, actually, I'm just gonna show this since it was you mentioned it, but Juiceco last year on Free Comic Book Day had a box that randomly had that cover in it that I didn't realize was a Comic-Con exclusive for $20, and he signed it in front of me while I was talking to him about the Yankees. And then I sent it in, and I got a 9.6 on it. I was like, I don't know what happened here, but Joe Juiceco might be the coolest guy ever. Just if you ever want to talk sports with him or whatever, he's just a chill dude.
He's the nicest guy.
My actual selection is X-Force #1 from 2010, or Uncanny X-Force #1 from 2010. Sorry. That to me is the seminal X-Force, Rick Remender. This was the Kid Apocalypse arc and all that. I don't know what it was about this team. I'm normally not a huge Deadpool guy, but Deadpool worked perfectly with Phantom X and Wolverine and Psylocke and Archangel, and the whole thing was just well put together, well written, action packed. The struggle, there's a struggle as to what to do with a cloned kid version of Apocalypse. And you can imagine what that struggle would be and what Deadpool's thoughts were on it and various other things. Hijinks ensue in the way only that cast of characters can pull them off. X-Force, dark, gritty, but extremely well written, extremely poignant, and the whole arc was just really well done.
When did it come out, Steve?
That was 2010.
And was that part of an ongoing series? Was it limited?
Yeah, so they did a
Pretty-
couple of X-Force runs, and then Rick Remender took over and they relaunched it as Uncanny X-Force because they were bringing in, Wolverine leading it with Deadpool and Phantom X and that team. And then it went back, I believe, in 2014 to the normal X-Force run. So it was basically just the 2010 to 2014 X-Force, but they, rebranded it as Uncanny.
I like it. Yeah, Nate from Hall, says that Rick Remender is a tremendous writer.
Oh yeah, like absolutely, yeah, just good all around.
I love it.
Yep.
All right, I wrote that down. Now I have to check that out. Celia, what do you got for this round?
Okay, so at the beginning, I showed a book that kind of combined my love of music and comics, and this is one that combines my love of video games and comics. So I'm a big fan of Mortal Kombat. I actually have the tattoo on my arm, so I had to bring a book. And some people might not know that DC actually put out a Mortal Kombat book during like the New 52 era, and I have it in trade paperbacks, but I had to grab this when I saw it. So it was just a sick cover.
Oh, you should see. On the way home from my girls' horse riding lesson today, we had Mortal Kombat going. You should see my kid jam out to Mortal Kombat. It is like one of the proudest dad moments. Obviously, can't show her any of the movie. Well, the first movie actually she'd probably be fine with. It's not really the new movie. Do you have?
Have you seen the animated ones that they did in like the style of the DC animated movies?
No. Would you recommend?
Oh, yeah, those are really good. Yeah, there's one that was called Scorpion's Revenge. That was the first one that they did. It was really good because you think like with Mortal Kombat, the live action stuff is good, but you have limitations. In animation, there's no limitation. So can imagine how gory those might get. So
how many
there you go. Yeah, I love Mortal Kombat. And I pick up Mortal Kombat books whenever I find them. So
how many issues did that run? I won it.
There were like 3 trades, so
figure it out.
Probably around 20 some issues. I don't know.
Do you have the first one from comics? Do you have the first Mortal Kombat? Like the first time it was in comics?
I don't know. I still need to get a copy of that one. I have some of the Malibu ones, but yeah, I don't have that first one yet.
Oh,
nice.
Steve, look at Steve's got
Nice,
something.
He's got the Goro.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
This almost made the 5 as well. I had to, that's why I ran away to go find it.
God, I love the Raw.
Also a huge Mortal Kombat fan. But
yeah. I mean,
Goro
got
foil.
the tattoo, so I have
awesome. I
to
love
bring
that.
out a Mortal Kombat book whenever I can.
Nice.
I love it. Okay, Mike, follow that. You gotta follow.
Oh, I'm not following that with anything special. I'm about like I said, like I should have taken more time to prepare. But like
we can always have you back. You're always welcome back.
I would love to come back. But like you guys are showing all these like deep cut, cool, like rare things, signed things. Like this is like the least deep cut you could possibly get. But it's a very important book to me. Because like I loved superheroes and stuff growing up, I was like a huge fan of like the Adam West Batman show and stuff when I was a kid. Like I read comics when I was a kid. Like I just was into it for so long. But then I grew up, high school, college, like, growing up in the 90s, not cool to be into all this stuff. Right now, it's like everyone knows everything about all these characters.
I got
like,
beat up for playing Magic when I was a kid.
Yeah, dude, it was like a different time. Like people don't get like I found one
today.
If I found like one other person that had seen Star Wars, it was like, oh my God, you're my best friend. Right. So like, so I kind of fell out of buying comics. Like I was still like into, like whatever other superhero stuff, but like comics had like really slipped. I hadn't bought a comic in forever, but I was working at a store in our local mall, and one of my managers was a big comics fan, and he came in one day and was mentioning that he just went to the comic store, and I was like, "Oh, what'd you get? Anything good?" He goes, "Yeah, Jason Todd is alive." And I was like, "Whoa, huh, what? What did you just say? What did you say?" So that I left my shift. I went to like the Borders bookstore that was alive in the mall at that point, and I bought a copy of Batman 617, where at the end is revealed that Jason Todd is alive again. Now, of course, in the next issue, if you've ever read Batman Hush, which is like one of the biggest, most popular Batman runs, I mean, it's like, this is not a deep cut at all, right? But you know, it's revealed that it's not really Jason Todd, that it's Clayface. But then, of course, it was retconned later that he knew about it and he was part of it, and it was him. It's a whole crazy, you know, comics. It's comics, right?
Yep.
He was there, he wasn't there, whatever. But this is the book that got me back into buying comics after years of not buying comics again, because immediately, like hearing that phrase come out of my former manager's mouth, Jason Todd is alive, was like, how can that be possible? I need to know all about that. So exactly. Yeah. I need to know all about that. I need to know why. I need to know how. I need to know where. I need to know everything. So I bought this book. I bought the rest of this run. And for the rest of my life, I've been back into buying comics. I've never stopped buying comics since I bought this book. So I'm a big fan of the Hush story. I like what they're so far. I like Hush 2 enough so far. But like this book specifically, but the entire Batman Hush run is what brought me back to comics and helped me like re-embrace my nerdery as a grown adult.
Who's the artist on that?
It's every issue for is Jim Lee.
I thought it was Jim Lee.
Yeah, it's Jeff
Beautiful.
Loeb and Jim Lee did the whole series, which was a huge deal at the time that Jim Lee was doing you know, a monthly book or whatever it was. And they're doing Hush Volume 2 right now. Is currently coming out, the Pages of Batman.
So I don't think I've ever heard that story, Mike.
Oh,
So
really?
Eric was the one that got you back into comics?
I don't think he knows that. I don't think he knows that either. Yeah.
Amazing.
But yeah, it was just like it was like a sentence that I never thought I'd hear, and I couldn't believe that it was being said to me. And I was like, I just have to, I immediately dove down the rabbit hole again. I was like, here I go. And I have never looked back.
Man, that was fantastic. I can't beat that. That was a great
Yeah.
story.
Nice.
That's what I'm looking for. All right. Dark Horse. Let's go Dark Horse Comics. We're doing all these other, we've done DC, we've done Marvel. When you think Chris Claremont, it's synonymous with X-Men, right? I mean, he turned the X-Men into what we know and love. But when I was going to meet him at Terrificon, my buddy Hagen from Lettuce Comics was kind enough to gift me this book and started me reading it. And then I got Mr. Claremont to sign it. So it is Aliens, Predators, Deadliest Species, issue
Predator
1
again.
of 2. So
Nice.
Signed by Chris Claremont.
That's awesome.
And when he signed it, he's like, "Yeah, don't sign many of these." And I'm like, "I'm sure." I'm sure it's you're getting the X-Men signatures, but great, cool story. What surprised me about this when I started reading it is all the Xeno, the Predator, and the girl protagonist in the story are all female.
Cool.
So very great, awesome Claremont writing with awesome art. And I couldn't believe, I didn't know that Claremont had worked on any Predator. I hadn't read a lot of the older stuff, but so I was like, this is great. I'll take, I like X-Men. I don't collect them, so it didn't seem like fitting to get like an X-Men book and just to have him sign it. But my connection with this and then seeing that he wrote some Predator was like, and he said he enjoyed writing the story. He thought it was cool that they were all female, that he was writing the characters about. So yeah, any Aliens and Predator book, I'm definitely going to pick up. So that was my book for round 4.
Cool.
That's awesome, dude.
Guys, we moved on to round 5. Some amazing books. I'll actually start this round off, and then I'll let you guys finish. And we're going to talk about your channels a little bit. I need to. I don't have a Predator helmet. This is just a wall hanger. The head's a wall hanger. I can't wear it. I can't wear it. My last book.
Wait, no. You should get a Predator helmet. You don't have one. You're.
I know. Listen. Horse riding lessons, Predator cosplay.
Fair enough.
I gotta make sure I'm taking care of the kids. But since you showed Swamp Thing, I'm gonna represent with my boy Man.
Do it, man.
And I had to bring out issue number 2 of the first volume, and this was signed by Jim Starlin.
Whoa,
The
dope!
cover for this.
Oh hell yeah!
And I met him at Terrificon.
Very
It's
nice.
crazy. No line for him when I met him. I was like, this is stupid that there's no line for
Insane.
Jim Starlin right now.
Insane.
And I walked out, $5 for an autograph. I was like, yeah,
Wow.
I think
$5?
I gave him 10. I was like, here, please take this.
Give him
$10
50.
bill.
Jesus
right.
Christ, Jim Starlin.
He was like, oh yeah, I remember doing this. He's like, I didn't work on much. He goes, but he told me a cool story is that they didn't like the face on this guy, so Marie Severin came in and redrew the face.
That's
like,
always so weird to me when they do that.
Yeah, he's like, whatever. But interesting because you don't see many side profiles of Man-Thing on covers, and he drew it the eyes very close to Frank Bruno, who's my favorite Man-Thing artist. So yeah, like I was just when I was like looking at creators that were going to be Terrificon, I was trying to find any books that like meant like the Predator and Claremont and Starlin with Man-Thing. Like I think Jim Starlin's an amazing artist. You know, we all know him for the works he's done. And yeah, so my final book, I like to pull this out every once in a while. And yeah, I was like, dude, you can sign bigger than that, but he was just like, no, I don't want to detract. I think he's old school, didn't want to detract from the cover, you know.
Yeah.
So he signed in a very obscure place. So that's my round 5 book. Rich, I see you looking around, man. You want to make any last second calls?
Well, no, my last book, I was just going with something current. Everybody else was showing, their current stuff early on. I was finishing with my current read, and it's really current because it just came out this past week. But it's Battle Beast.
Oh,
yes,
just got my copy's in the mail.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see where this goes. This is actually the variant cover, which I don't know why you wouldn't have had David Finch be the main A cover. This is a Finch cover here, so this is just awesome to me, man. Yeah, I mean the story, we'll see what happens, but it seems like it might be pretty interesting. But it's just a bloody fight, like Invincible does, the Invincible stories and stuff. So I'm not a big Invincible reader fan or whatever you want, how you want to say it, but I've always loved this character of Battle Beast. So I think it's going to be cool to see where they take it.
I've got that one on the way, and the Arthur Adams 1 in 50 because it's beautiful. But also Battle Beast. Any kids from the 80s remember the toys Battle Beasts?
Yes,
they're these little figures.
Yeah,
and that one there was a figure that looks a lot like that guy. The only difference is the one from the 80s has an eye patch on, but otherwise he's a spitting image of that guy.
Yeah,
and so I'm interested to read it too. I do enjoy the Invincible universe. That's cool. You got that already. Me in the middle of nowhere. I have to order it and have it sent out. But Battle Beast number 1.
You could have stopped into Funky Town at any
I
point.
know they did the 36 hours.
Yeah,
they did a 24-hour whatnot stream and 36 hours of the store open for the
Battle Beast
release.
But let me do one more thing here, man.
Show Adam's art. That's amazing.
Yeah, this is a 1-of-1 copy. It's going to come out. It's starter, Kickstarter. It's going to be happening sooner or later. No, I'm just joking. This is Adam from Up and Adam.
It's great.
He's
Nice.
I am so honored to be part of this club. He's done this for several different content creators and stuff. It's just cracks me up, man. I love it so much, man.
That's awesome.
Just had to show it real quick. Sorry.
You nailed your face, dude. He's
Yeah,
so good at that.
That's why I laugh about it so much every time. If you watch the video of me unboxing it, man, I'm just laughing because it's just like that face, man. I'm like, that just cracks me up, dude.
He crushed it.
Yeah,
All right,
he did.
Steve, what do you got for your final book, my friend?
All right, finishing it off. Sorry, didn't realize I left the Hobbit door open over there. The last one would be Star Wars X-Wing Rogue Squadron #1, a Dark Horse. This one is signed by Dennis Lawson. Anyone who listens or watches the channel will know Mike and I are both giant Star Wars nerds. Wedge happens to be my favorite character in all of Star Wars. Somehow, I don't know how that ever happened, but like my license plate is literally Red 2.
Yeah.
So finding this, actually I got this at Funky Town from that first Star Wars collection they had gotten in, saw that on the wall. I was like, I need to have this in my basement. But the original Dark Horse, like X-Wing Rogue Squadron run and some of those early Dark Horse books were things that, you know, back in the day, you didn't have Star Wars content. There wasn't a new show every, you know, half a year. That was what we had, was the expanded universe stuff, and getting into that, and like the Thrawn books and the expanded universe kept me in that nerd sphere, for lack of a better description, and in that Star Wars space, and like built out this crazy world that now they're using to make all this new content, and to do it in visual form. Like watching a bunch of X-Wings fly against TIE fighters on a comic page, like, sign me up. Why not?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. So Wedge, was that the deleted scene from New Hope where Luke interacts with Wedge?
That was with Biggs.
Biggs. It was with Biggs.
Actually right there.
All right, got you. Yeah.
That's a different book he's got.
It's a different book that's also signed by the actor that played Biggs.
I've got some Star Wars signatures. I've got a Wampa tattooed on my hand because we live in Hoth for 8 months out of the year. I've got all the OG bounty hunters tattooed on my entire lower calf. Like I am Star Wars. That Jedi was the first movie I saw in theaters.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so that is that book is special to see. I love that you have the obscure. I have like the guy who played Squidhead and Max Rebo. I have like their signature.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well done in the last book. Some love for Star Wars. Celia, what do you got for your last book?
So I'm throwing you off a little bit. So I've shown a lot of DC. I had to do something a little different, and I wanted to show off another really cool lady because I haven't shown off any other women books yet. So this cover right here for Brooke Exodus #3. Featuring Dire Wolf. She's a recent, really, really cool female character, and I've really loved this series by Jeff Johns, art by Jason Fabok, and I think a trade might be out, or it's coming out soon. It's on hiatus now, but this is some really good stuff from Ghost Machine over at Image Comics. One of my favorite recent books that have come out. Very unique concept. It's like everyone has fled Earth to this planet, Exodus, and they all have these helmets that let them control different animals, and it's very interesting concept. Really cool.
Chris Parker just sent me the first issue of that for me to get into because he said I thought I'd like it. He said it was like 80s toy lines almost.
Yep,
it's a good series.
So the mask, like okay, that's probably what I'm gonna be reading tonight. Yeah. So they all have masks. That's their thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's really cool.
That's beautiful.
A lot of those Ghost Machine things have been really, really well done.
Ghost Machine, they're killing it, right?
Yeah, they're killing it, man. Knocking it out of the park.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I really love Hyde Street. That's really good for like an anthology horror type thing. And Geiger's great, Redcoat's great. But I think Rook Exodus was my favorite. And it's the one that surprised me the most. I expected the least from it. So yeah, definitely something cool, something different. I want to get more into independent stuff, but I dip into it occasionally.
I mean, everyone told me that's where the stories are. Don't get me wrong. Like we're always going to love our main hero from our main universes, but yeah, you get these stories like it's all fresh new characters, right? Like it's something.
Yeah, like I'm at the point now where I'm more into following writers and artists, and I love Jeff Johns. Everything he's done for DC has been great. Like pretty much the modern DC we know today wouldn't be the same without him and some of what he's done. So he's built up an amazing universe in DC with the Green Lantern and all the different Lantern Corps, and he did that here with building this amazing new world, and feels fresh, feels different. I feel like this would make a really cool video game. Honestly, I kind of get that feel. Like I would love to play something like this. But
I'm in. I'm all in. I
Yeah.
can't wait to read that.
So,
now.
Most
yeah,
of my
check it out.
pool list is indie stuff, so yeah.
Cool.
It's crazy
Nice.
thinking about like
Mhm.
what Kirkman has done with like his little pool there with Void Rivals and that whole universe that they're kind of creating with G.I. Joe, Transformers, Void Rivals, all that sort of thing, and then what they're doing with the Ghost Machine print and like all these, you know, non-big two universes that are kind of propagating on themselves. Yes, like Void Rivals is using IP, but it's definitely in a way that you wouldn't have expected to be used, type thing. And they're the voices out there that are hitting the independent stuff, or that are, you know, creating this independent stuff, are just great right now.
I love it. And not to like
Mhm.
take away from the comics, but didn't the end of like a Transformers movie have them introduced to G.I. Joe? Like a recent Transformers movie had them cross over with G.I. Joe.
Oh, really?
So
I
they're
think they
going
were starting to, yeah.
or they're starting to, or yeah, I don't know. I thought I heard something about it, but anyways, I'm into it. I got to read that Rook #1. I'm just so behind a lot of my reading, but well done, Celia. I love that cover, and she's a female character.
Mhm. Yeah, well, she's it's like there's a male and female. Rook is the main character, and she's like, you know, she's his partner in crime, I guess.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Cool.
Mike, final book, dude. You get the honors.
Wow. Okay.
No
Thank
pressure.
you. Thank you so much for giving me this honor. I'm taking a page from Rich's book,
Uh-oh.
and I'm going to show you my first comic that I remember. Because I have old books that are like a few issues earlier than this, but I don't remember getting those. But I remember when I was a kid and I was homesick from school, not feeling very good, and my dad came home and he brought me a comic to make me feel better, and he brought me Batman number 448, The Penguin Affair, #1 of 3.
Nice.
It's got Harold in it, which is like a weird minor character that was like Batman's assistant in the Batcave for like, I don't know, a month or something in the 80s. I don't know, in the late 80s, early 90s. Comes back in the Hush storyline. I don't remember. I haven't actually read this book in a really long time. I don't remember the story necessarily. And because I was a kid and I didn't realize how comics worked, I never got #2. I got #3, but I don't have #2. So I have Penguin Affair #1 and Penguin Affair #3. Still to this day, I don't think I've ever seen a copy of Penguin Affair #2. So if anyone has Penguin Affair #2, let me know. I would love to, you know, finally complete this trilogy.
I have it. Yeah.
Oh, Rich, you got it? Oh, how much you want for it? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, this was like, you know, like I said, I grew up, this might've been the first time I read a Batman comic. And, you know, like I said, I grew up watching the, whatever, Super Friends reruns or the Adam West 66 Batman TV show reruns and stuff. It's like, that was my only access to those characters until this was put in my hands by my dad, who he just knew that I liked the character because I had like toys and stuff. Like he didn't know that he didn't care about superheroes. He didn't like comic books at all. He just knew I liked Batman and brought me a book. And I was like, oh, I can read about Batman too. Okay, great. Now I'm in. So Batman 448 is the first comic that I remember owning. Like I said, I have earlier ones and I've had earlier ones. Like I have like 445. But I don't remember getting that one. I remember getting this one. So I'm calling this my first one, even if it may not be.
Core memory, dude. It's a core memory.
Exactly.
Your dad bringing it home to you.
Yeah.
And Matt from Matt Likes Comics, he's read it, of course. He's read
That's
all of them.
Yeah.
Of course.
I think it's Brayfogle did the art in that too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. That was for the 20th episode. I couldn't be happier with what you guys showed tonight and what we were talking about. I love the show because it gets to like show people who watch the chat, the rewind, like what people are into, and what maybe they didn't think they were into. So that was well done. I thank you all for bringing those books and sharing your stories with us, because that's freaking awesome. Because I've got a lot written of what I need to buy now. So thank you for helping me spend our hard-earned money. And now I'm probably going to breach into DC because of Steve and Celia. You know, tell me about the absolute universe.
Do it. Do it.
Before we get out of here, I want to give a second to each of these people to tell you about their channel, First of all, if you're in the chat or you watch the rerun and you haven't gone and subbed them up, you need to go do that immediately because you won't be disappointed with the content that you are going to digest from these folks. They were all wonderful people. Everyone I have on my show, I found through the ether of YouTube's, and I'm very grateful I did, because this takes a lot of work and it takes passion to do, and these guys definitely have it. So, Rich, I'm going to start with you, buddy. What do you got coming up on the forefront, man? I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot tonight. What you got coming up on the forefront of Big Nasty Comics?
Well, on my channel, I do different style of videos or whatever. I do my little highlight series where I go around do local LCSs, to highlight them and stuff. And then I got a few different videos, in the works. That's on my main channel. And then on Saturday nights, typically at 8 o'clock, me and Chonko from Comics and Nerd Culture, we do a show. It's called the Live Show, where we do the first hour is kind of like an interview. We've got some different people lined up. We'll interview them for the first hour, and then after that, we open the chat up and invite other people on to the stream. And interact and show comics and it turns into a hangout, Saturday night hangouts. What it evolves into. So,
well, thank you for taking away from that tonight, because you could have been doing that while you're at the show. So I feel bad that I'm robbing you of your time.
No, it's quite all right. We, me and Chonko both understand. He did a show once a couple weeks ago, and we kind of made an agreement. We didn't want to do any like substitute hosts at this point. Being early on, we want to
don't cheat on each other. I like it.
Right. I call him my heterosexual comic life mate, so
Jay and Silent Bob, baby. I love it.
Jay and Silent Bob. That's pretty much it. I just try to keep it light and fun, and don't take too many things serious, and just show what I like and show what I collect. So
awesome. Love it. I love it. And I'm glad you started your YouTube adventure, my friend.
Thank you.
Welcome to Thunderdome. Celia, what do you got coming up? I know you pump out content. So what do you got
I make a lot of videos, all different kinds of videos. I have comic shop videos. I have sometimes reviews, sometimes, just discussions, hauls, all kinds of stuff. I do live streams. I just love making videos. Like I love everything I'm talking about, but really making videos is what I live for. It's just what I've been working towards my whole life. Like when I say the first time, as soon as I could get on a camera and start talking and recording myself, I was doing it. I've been doing YouTube since I was a kid. I've done video production stuff in the past. This is just what I live for. So I really appreciate anyone who supports me, and I really appreciate you having me on. So thank you very much, my man.
You're welcome. I just noticed shadow over your shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
My kids are semi-addicted to Sonic now. So in the morning, Saturday, my wife is great. It's PBS during the school week with them, but Daddy's home on the weekend. So it's we get up, what do we watch? And they're like, Knuckles, Shadow. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. So I love that you're a Shadow fan. And yeah, you've been crushing it. Congratulations on everything lately. Keep going. Keep pumping out that content. You make as much as us parents wish we could create. You just keep pumping it out. That's great. And tell Luke I said hi. He's a sweetheart for buying you that book.
Oh yeah. He got invited to a last minute concert, so he couldn't come on tonight. He was gonna probably sneak in and interrupt me, but
well, you know what? Fun. I'm glad you skipped the concert to come hang out with us nerds. We appreciate
of course. Yeah, there was no contest. I was definitely going to be here.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate your time. And then we got. Let me see if I can get the layout. I don't know if I can get Steve and Mike on here. Why don't you just talk like this, Steve and Mike? What do you guys got coming up on the multiverse for us? And what else do you do, Mike? I want people to hear about this.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mentioned it earlier, but I'll mention it again now. I'm a comic book writer as well. And I have a book on Kickstarter right now. It ends Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. So there's only a few days left. We're trying to make up a good amount of
code, folks.
There's a QR code. This book is called I Brought a Gorilla to a Gunfight. It's a Western about a bounty hunter named Penny Westfield, whose partner is an 8-foot gorilla named Moki. She doesn't use guns. She throws knives, and she rides a gorilla around instead of a horse. So it's kind of like an old Western, but with like some magical realism in there as well. So that's on Kickstarter right now. It's a 30-page action-packed book. I would love for you to give it a shout, show some support to it. That'd be great. I have a couple other books that are either published or in the process of as well, but that's the main focus right now is Brought a Gorilla to a Gunfight. So go check that out on Kickstarter. Someone just looked like they shared the link in the chat, but you can also just go to Kickstarter. And of course, thanks, Richard.
And it's in the description too of this video. So
awesome. Also, if you just go to Kickstarter.com and search for gorilla, it comes up. I tested it. So
I backed it, and I got the bat flip pin up too because
appreciate it.
Nice. Yeah,
back it. I'll
many gorilla options on Kickstarter. So
that's right. Not a ton. But yeah, we're shooting for like an August or September to have everything fulfilled and sent out. I'll sign everything if people want them signed and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of cool rewards available. So that's that. But yeah, also Steve and I do the Multiverse Report mostly Sunday nights at 9:30. Sometimes we have to reschedule, but usually 9:30.
9:30 for the record is usually 9:45 because, well, stupid things happen when you have small children.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
or we meet and start and we're about to launch and then we start talking about something and we talk about it for 10 minutes and then we're like, oh, wait, we should hit record and then talk about it on the show.
Yep. I don't know how many times that's happened where the pre-roll is like the show could have been part of the pre-roll 100% should have been part of the show. And then we're like, oh, we can't recreate that.
Yeah.
So in general, just everybody else is very comics focused. We're in general, we span the gamut of everything.
We're a nerdy news wrap-up podcast is what we call it.
Like a weekly recap from TV shows, movies, anything in the general nerd sphere that has happened, as well as a full comic section on the back end.
Yeah,
and we can also listen to you on Spotify. Can we find you on Apple too?
Yep. Any place your podcasts come to you from, we should be there. Just the Multiverse Report on YouTube or your podcatcher of choice.
And that's we do. Important.
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say every year we do for May the 4th, we do a big Star Wars ranking episode. We've done 3 of them. So the first year we ranked the movies. The second year we ranked our favorite Force users, which was a little abstract and kind of too crazy. This year we just did our favorite TV shows. So that's a recent episode that you can go and listen to. The two of us and a friend of the show rank our favorite Star Wars TV shows. That's kind of the biggest event that we've done recently. And other than that, it's mostly just like weekly kind of like news wrap-ups of whatever, who got cast in what, or what trailer came out for whatever, and that kind of stuff. Yeah,
that's who's huge that you guys are a podcast too, because I'm a master of the custodial arts for my day job, so like I have my earpods in and I'm just any kind of podcast that I can find that is comic, because you can't watch YouTube all the time, right? Like but I would, if anyone here had a podcast and you guys do, like I'll listen to it, because like during work that gets me through it, like doing those mundane tasks. So love that you guys have a podcast too. Thanks for giving me the plugs, guys. Everyone in the chat, did you hear that? Go sub these people and watch what they put out, because they're very
I just backed your mic, so
thanks, dude. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Go back Mike's Kickstarter, because I really want to read this. This looks freaking awesome. And Matt Flint is a talented artist.
He really is.
He's fantastic. He's such a nice guy. And go check out Biggnastycomics and check out Celia at Gotham Glam. They're all putting out fantastic content. And thanks for the chat for hanging out. We had like 22 congruent viewers tonight, so that's awesome that you guys.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Yeah, congrats to Brian. I'll be sending these books out on Monday for the win. And I'm going to go backstage with these folks. And you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. And thank you for hanging out with us. And we'll see you next time, guys.
See ya.
There's going to be delay. I hit end stream.